and was sworn in as the new Community Services Minister. As Michael Gorman reports, the government is presenting this as a move in the interest of helping people, but it's also a political blow to the Liberals.
When will these legislative mandated fire inspections be done on time?
Few people have been bigger critics of the Tim Houston government than Brendan Maguire. But today, the three-term Liberal MLA was filled with praise as he crossed the floor to join Houston's party and cabinet.
Since the Premier took office, I've been impressed with his leadership and ability to get things done. He's delivering results and won't settle for the status quo when it's not working for Nova Scotians. Like him, I'm focused on producing results.
Houston and Maguire have regularly sparred since they were both first elected in 2013, but that's water under the bridge now. The Premier tapped Maguire to be his Community Services Minister, replacing Trevor Boudreau. Boudreau, who was sworn in as Minister in September, released a statement saying he was stepping down as Minister for health reasons. He'll continue as an MLA. Houston had 12 backbench MLAs he could have promoted to cabinet, but he says Maguire was the right man for the job.
It is someone who I know from a very personal experience. Is like a dog with a bone, and when he says he will do something, he rolls up his sleeves and he gets to work to get things done. And people who get things done are my kind of people.
Sources tell CBC that Maguire first started reaching out to the Tories several months ago, but it was only recently that this became a possibility. Maguire and the Premier said today that it was last weekend that they discussed the Halifax Atlantic MLA crossing the floor and joining cabinet. For the Liberals, it's the loss of one of the safest seats in the legislature and a setback for Zach Churchill as his team begins to prepare for the next election. Churchill told reporters that Maguire informed him of his decision 10 minutes before the announcement. He wished his former colleague well.
So I do hope that Brendan stepping into that role can actually help reverse the course of the current government's approach to dealing with poverty and homelessness and food insecurity, and hopefully we can start seeing some improvement in people's lives as a result of this.
Maguire has been harshly critical of Houston's approach on housing and poverty. With MLAs returning to Province House next week for the spring session, the public won't have to wait long to see how Maguire puts his own stamp on those issues. Michael Gorman, CBC News, Halifax.
Laurie Turnbull is a political scientist who says crossing the floor in Nova Scotia politics is often less about philosophical differences than some people might think.
Obviously, we have different political parties in Nova Scotia, but the ideological difference or the ideological distance between one party and another is not so tremendous that he has to start walking back every comment he's ever made on something, right? Like it's not like the parties are so far apart or completely no overlap whatsoever. And so I think he can probably, politically find his way to an explanation for why he's done what he's done.
I'll talk to Laurie Turnbull about Brendan Maguire crossing the floor and about the prospect of an early provincial election. That's our Newsmaker interview just after 6:30. Nova Scotia is banning fees for waitlists and registration for provincially licensed and funded early learning and childcare programs. The province has been reviewing the practice since last fall, following complaints from families about the expense. Some other provinces have banned the fees with legislation, but in Nova Scotia, the fees will be banned under the annual funding agreements that daycares sign with the province this spring. Early Childhood Development Minister Becky Drouin says it's the most appropriate tool for the job.
Our operators are authorized under and work under individual agreements with the province, and those individual agreements are what define the terms under which they work and how they're funded. So this, in the context of the Nova Scotia landscape, this was the fastest and most accessible way to make this change.
The updated funding agreements are to take effect April the 1st and will include a one-time $9.7 million grant to offset rising operating costs and wage increases for staff. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Cape Breton today, where he unveiled more than $13 million from the federal government's Housing Accelerator. Trudeau says the funds will help Cape Breton Regional Municipality and Member 2 First Nation cut red tape to get homes built faster.
The reality is, once you've changed the way people build homes, the amount of homes or units you can build on a single property, the access to financing and capital, the acceleration of red tapes, things like the taking off of the GST on purpose-built apartment buildings. These are things that unlock homes everywhere throughout the municipality.
Ottawa estimates the funds will help build more than 3,200 homes in the area over the next decade. 5 Halifax homeless encampments have been ordered to close on Monday. The municipality says it's because there are now spaces for everyone inside. The CBC's Nicola Seguin wanted to find out how many people are still living at these parks and where exactly they will go next week.
When the notices went out, a lot of people were shocked. People living in some of Halifax's growing homeless encampments had less than 3 weeks to pack up and move.
It's a slap in the face to wake up from all the snow that we've been having, and then we have to get out.
On Monday, 5 encampments will be closed and cleanup planning will start. The most high profile are Grand Parade, Victoria Park, and this encampment in Lower Sackville. The city's reasoning?
There are places for people to go, so that's what we're encouraging people to look at, explore that with navigators, understand what their options are, and then take advantage of something that gets them inside, gets them away from the risks of frostbite, fire, carbon monoxide poisoning.
The city says there were 55 people living in these encampments when the notices went out. So 55 people needed to find a spot inside. And is that even possible? Well, according to the province, there are close to 400 shelter beds in HRM. But as many of us know, most of them are full. Since November, the province opened the new Windmill Road shelter in Dartmouth and the Halifax Forum shelter. The Forum still has spots reserved for people from the closing encampments, but they haven't been the most popular.
A lot of people don't feel comfortable in a wide open space because of personal reasons, and also it is only a 6-month temporary shelter right now. So what's going to happen in 6 months? So these people would like to find more of a solution than just a temporary band-aid.
The encampment here in Lower Sackville had more than 50 people at its height. Now down to 9. And the total number of people living in the closing parks was down to 30 this week. So while navigators say some people have moved indoors, some got spaces in hotel rooms funded by the province, single-room shelters and apartments, others just moved to another encampment.
While the indoor solutions are an option for folks, it's not a solution to really what folks are facing, which is a lack of housing. The solution to homelessness is housing.
And we are making progress. Construction will start on the tiny home village next month. The pallet shelters are opening in the coming weeks, and the new Waverley Inn supportive housing opened last week. But what will happen on Monday to the people who don't want to leave? Will we see a repeat of 3 summers ago?
I hope there's not police involved. I hope that there's not compliance involved. I hope that rallies are not here to make this an unstable environment.
The intention is not to go in with police and force people out. The intention is to go in and work with people to find them an option so they can move on.
So with the city saying they'll work with everyone to find them a space, we'll wait until Monday to see how the closures play out. Nicola Seguin, CBC News, Halifax.
All right, your first look now at the weather forecast. Ryan with us now, and some messy weather on the way for some.
You've got that right, and it is going to be wet. Rain is no doubt going to be the main concern as we roll through the Friday night and Saturday time period. And scenes like this are what I'm most concerned about. And this, again, is from February 2015. Everybody remembers that winter. And these are the types of situations that we're going to need to be on the lookout for. Storm drains that are clogged with snow and ice, and then we get the rain falling, and that water just has nowhere to go. So localized flooding Friday night and Saturday is going to be a concern, not only in the Halifax area, but across a good portion of the province. And the areas that are expected to see the highest amounts of rainfall are the areas that have been hardest hit with the snow over the last few weeks, most notably Halifax, the Northumberland Shore, and into Cape Breton. These areas are likely to see 30, 40, 50 millimeters of rain, possibly even more than that locally. South Shore also into that range of possible rainfall totals. Now, the snow clearing out from Cape Breton over the next few hours. It's a quiet start to Friday and cool, but temperatures already bumping up above the freezing mark in Yarmouth. And that's the other part of this story. Southerly winds will bring in mild temperatures, so it's not just the rain, it's the warm temps that are going to be melting the snow, further adding to the water runoff, which will have very few places to go, especially considering the ground is frozen right now. Friday night, periods of rain will be even at times heavy. Strong southerly winds gusting widespread 50, 60, 70 kilometers per hour. And yeah, we'll see some gusts in the 80 to possibly 90 range for Cape Breton. And then it all freezes up. Saturday afternoon, starting to see temps fall in the west. Those temperatures will plummet through Saturday evening. Be watching for icy conditions developing. And then by the time we get to Sunday morning, widespread, very chilly temperatures, minus double digits, even teens, Tom. So whatever slush and water are left around by the time we get to Saturday evening, it's all going to be an icy mess by Sunday morning.
It does sound messy for sure. Okay, Ryan, details to come. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Nova Scotia Health and the IWK are lifting the requirement for healthcare workers to have COVID-19 vaccinations. The previous requirement resulted in some workers going on unpaid leave, but in an email to CBC News confirming the change, a spokesperson says the decision to lift the requirement was made, quote, in response to evolving evidence regarding COVID-19, Omicron subvariants, protection from vaccine, and a review of vaccination policies across other jurisdictions. The change will take effect on Monday, and letters have been going out to some employees. The letter directs employees to notify their manager of their intent to return or resign by March the 15th. The former CEO of the IWK Children's Hospital has entered not guilty pleas ahead of her second fraud trial. The case involves Tracy Kitch's past use of a corporate credit card and some expense claims. She was found guilty in her first trial, but successfully appealed the conviction when it was found that the provincial court judge who heard that case made mistakes. The next trial will take place in Nova Scotia Supreme Court in April next year. The former head of the Better Business Bureau in Atlantic Canada has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for child pornography offenses. Peter Morehouse exchanged messages with another man describing what they'd like to do to 2 girls. The messages were so graphic they were considered child pornography and sealed by the court. Morehouse says he thought they were just role-playing and that he never knew the 14-year-old the other man mentioned was a real person. He says the 12-year-old he talked about was a fantasy. He blamed his behavior on sexual abuse he suffered as a young boy. He says he never had taken treatment and instead looked at ways to punish himself. 10 years ago, Nova Scotia released the Ivany Report, a document to help improve this province's economy. But a number of the targets has still not been met. One of those was to increase the employment rates of Black and Indigenous Nova Scotians. The CBC's Kathleen McKenna reports.
In 2014, Black and Indigenous Nova Scotians were not experiencing the same rates of employment as the rest of the population. The Ivany Report recommended fixing that. But a decade later, it's a goal they failed to meet.
Ivany clearly didn't make a strong enough case.
Alfred Burgesson is the CEO and founder of the Tribe Network, which supports First Nations and African Nova Scotians with employment and entrepreneurship.
How are we holding them to the standard of the goals, right? So if we know that we're trying to increase African, Nova Scotian, and Indigenous employment, when we're attracting companies to our region, we should be having benchmarks or milestones for them to reach when it comes to reaching those communities and hiring those people.
Chief Sidney Peters of Glooscap First Nation says the province could also be doing more to engage with First Nations communities.
We need to have the province to come to the table to work with us. You know, we have a large population, a young population growing within our communities. Our communities are getting, flooded with, there's no housing, for example, and there's not a lot of employment outside. And it's hard to get, to find true employment where you're actually going to be successful in a lot of cases off reserve.
In an emailed statement, the province says although it has put in place supports to meet the targets set out in the Ivany Report, it needs to do better. It says part of that is working with communities. But for Burgesson, the work that the province has done isn't enough.
The federal government has invested over $300 million into Black communities in the last 3 years. I don't know if the municipal government or the provincial government have a strategy around matching that or matching an initiative to that level of substance. If the federal government is willing to put hundreds of millions of dollars into Black communities, I would love to see the provincial government and the municipal government partner on supporting Black communities as well.
Both communities say they hope the province will put in more effort into increasing the rates of employment going forward. Kathleen McKenna, CBC News, Halifax.
A new Halifax vintage shop is tackling sustainability in the fashion industry head-on by offering workshops on how to mend, make and customize your own clothing. The CBC's Ali Thompson takes us inside the Halifax vintage garment market.
In a world dominated by fast fashion, people are wondering how to extend the life of the clothes already in their closet. This Halifax garment market wants to help. Let's go check it out. And so where are we today?
We are at 1549 Barrington Street, a beautiful heritage building that is at the corner of Blowers and Barrington. And it was a recent acquisition and a real opportunity. And I've taken responsibility of all 3 floors of this beautiful building. Upstairs is really exciting because we've got a taille. So the second floor has an area where we can mend, make our own products, and restore and process vintage clothing. So it really it's a workshop. It's an atelier. It's a studio. It's not just for our own business purposes, but also to share really basic textile skills, garment skills, and footwear skills.
You know, buttons are often the first thing to fail on clothing. They get used a lot, especially kind of like jacket buttons. And a lot of people end up throwing out their clothing because a button breaks and they don't know how to sew back on a button, even though it's quite a simple process.
So it might seem like a sort of obvious question, but what's the advantage to knowing how to do something like this?
The huge advantage is just being able to keep your clothes for longer. And knowing how to fix something. You can fix a friend's clothes. It's like a gift that you can give to other people. You can gift like the lesson, like I'm doing now. You can teach someone else how to do this. But yeah, primarily you'll just get to keep the clothes you really like for longer and not have to go buy new stuff. And now you're gonna wanna flip the whole thing over and you wanna go back into where your anchor knot is, that same hole. Yeah, I think that young people are starting to get a little more interested in fashion in general, and maybe like a bit more interested in trends and just seeing how like these things that were popular in the 80s or the 90s or the 70s, they all become popular again. So I think a lot of people are tuned into this idea of, you know, maybe I shouldn't throw out this stuff now. Like maybe my kids are gonna want this in 30 years.
And I guess, you know, it's all to prevent this stuff from just being thrown out.
Yeah, exactly.
And why is that important?
That's important just because you just got to think of the landfills. Like there's landfills with perfectly good jackets, warm jackets, that are just thrown out just because the zipper doesn't work, you know? And like I said with buttons, zippers are often the first part of a jacket to break. So, you know, everything else might be perfect on the jacket, the lining might be so nice, but people will throw it out because they can't zip it up. So for that to go into a landfill is just, you know, it's just a waste.
They'll last another lifetime. They're so beautifully made. I think sustainability in the textile industry is so critical. The fashion industry, from start to finish, has become very toxic with synthetics and how things are made and what happens to the end of their life cycle. And I'm trying to mitigate in my little way and parlaying that kind of understanding and knowledge and passion to consumers. I think that the whole world is becoming aware of that whole mantra of the right to repair, and whether it's your shoes or your clothing or appliances. So I think the more equipped we are and the less intimidated we are by things that we use and need and love, and cherish, then we'll have a less disposable economy. There is absolutely no reason to be intimidated. It's really, it's so satisfying. And I reckon anyone who picks up a needle and thread for the first time and starts to experiment, you're gonna get hooked.
Coming up, there was a deadly shooting today near an Israeli checkpoint in West Bank near Jerusalem as tensions rise between Israeli and the Palestinian territory. And Nathaniel Veltman has been sentenced to life in prison for killing 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario. Ryan Snoddon back with your full weather forecast in just a couple of moments. We'll see you after the break. Okay, it's not the snow, it's the rain, it seems, in Nova Scotia this time of year, isn't it?
Well, this really is kind of what we're used to the last few winters,
yes,
right?
Exactly,
is these rain events. The big difference is we normally don't have like 100 to 200 centimeters on the ground when they roll in. That's the big change this time around. Is there's just so much snow on the ground, that just such a large snowpack. The storm drains are cleared. I've been hearing that they've been, different counties have been spray painting the snowbanks where the storm drains are so that crews can go around and clear them away. If you know where your storm drain is in your neighborhood, maybe do the neighborly thing, dig it out, make sure that that water has an exit route. And if you can do so around your property too, I know it's tough because the snow is so high in many cases, but try and make sure the water has an exit route because it's going to need one.
Sure.
Have a look at our high temperatures today and you can see where, this province, gotta love always a few contrasts, -6 at Amherst, but 3 Baccarrow and 3 at Shelburne, and you can see -1 in Sydney. And that's where we had the snow today in through Cape Breton and the eastern parts of mainland Nova Scotia, mixed with some ice pellets. And it has just been a real messy day there for the eastern parts of the province. Those northeast winds sustained 20. There's 30 kilometer per hour gust at Sydney, but for the most part, it hasn't been gusty. It's just been sustained northeasterly breezy, and you can see there's that snow coming down, and it has been indeed mixed with ice pellets here, just really messy, and a further maybe 2-5 centimeters at tops as this will then sail to the north. Already seeing the clearing here and through eastern Halifax County, starting to clear anyway on the back edge of this system, which will continue to work its way northward. Now, this is the system at hand, and it's gathering steam here. Note the milder air creeping up the eastern seaboard here. That is what we're going to be tapping into. Special weather statements are in effect for a good chunk of Nova Scotia, and that coinciding pretty nicely with the rainfall map. Again, rainfall warning criteria this time of year when the ground is frozen is 25 millimeters of rain, unlike 50 millimeters of rain in the summer season. And so looks like we'll be very near that for a good portion of the province. Maybe not so much the valley, but we'll be watching the rain for you folks as well. But it is most notably the South Shore, Halifax, Truro, at Pictou, Antigonish, and east of that line that we're looking at the best chances for 30, 40, 50 millimeters. As I mentioned earlier, could see some totals exceeding 50 millimeters locally. So not a great situation shaping up here. We've got temperatures tonight, -4 to -10 for the most part. There's the snow wrapping up, and we'll walk you through the timeline one more time. And again, we'll mention here that there could be a few flakes and maybe even some patchy freezing rain tomorrow morning. The valley up into the Colchester-Cumberland area on the northern edge of this, but tomorrow afternoon we pretty quickly bump up above the freezing mark, but I did put a few flakes in here and so perhaps some slick driving tomorrow morning into the early afternoon before we do bump up. Note temperatures 4-5 degrees. Beautiful day in Cape Breton tomorrow. Sun and cloud, though we will see the rain and the showers rolling in there tomorrow evening. So this is 11 p.m. tomorrow evening, and you can see those temperatures will continue to bump up. The darker greens, even some yellows, these are the heavier periods of rain that we're going to be expecting Friday night into Saturday morning. Those southerly winds, again, gusting 50, 60, 70 kilometers per hour, looking pretty widespread, and maybe some gusts exceeding 70 and 80, even here for Guysborough into Cape Breton in particular. Note by the time we get to 2 p.m. Saturday, forecast model's pretty bullish that the heaviest rain moving out of the mainland for the most part. A little uncertainty here on how much of this wintry mix we see on the back edge, but could be enough to maybe bring 5 centimeters for the Northumberland shore into Cape Breton, and maybe even a glaze or a coating back farther west towards Halifax and Lunenburg in the valley, though that is a little less likely. But note the temperatures. That is the one thing that it looks like a slam dunk. We are going to see those temperatures falling through Saturday afternoon. If you're traveling Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, beware that things could turn icy in a hurry as those temperatures drop pretty quickly. By Sunday morning, as we said, we're well below the freezing mark, widespread minus double digits in teens, and so an icy mess with whatever slush and water is still around will just become ice. And yeah, those snowbanks that of course are going to remain will be just basically icy banks, and we are going to be seeing temperatures remain below the freezing mark Sunday, edging close to the freezing mark Monday. The good news, Tom, is that we won't be permanently frozen in ice, as we will see temperatures rebounding into mid next week with another warm push.
Well, there is that at least.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And up next, I'll talk with political scientist Laurie Turnbull about the floor crossing today in the Nova Scotia legislature between the Liberals and the PCs. That is our Newsmaker interview. Stay with us. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News. Liberal MLA Brendan Maguire is crossing the legislature floor to join the PCs. He's also the new Minister of Community Services, after Trevor Boudreau stepped down as Minister for Health reasons. Laurie Turnbull is a political scientist watching all of this. Floor crossings, they don't happen all that often in Nova Scotia politics. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, they don't happen that often. Happen sometimes. And it's always a bit of a surprise because we have such a partisan system where people run with their party, they run as a candidate for the party. There's all these pictures with the leader, and there's this, kind of focus on what the party wants to do if elected. And oftentimes when people vote, they're voting for the party, they're voting for the leader, they're voting for the candidate, kind of. But it's, the other two factors make a huge difference. And so when you see someone cross the floor to another party, it's almost like, hey, this wasn't what you campaigned on. And so it's a bit of it throws people for a bit of a loop sometimes.
Wonder how it'll go. I mean, Brendan Maguire has long been considered a pretty good constituency politician. What might this mean for him down the road?
I mean, it's possible this is not going to be a hard sell for him at all. I mean, he'll have to, obviously, if he chooses to run again, he'll have to explain to his constituents why he made the change he made. And I'm sure he has answers in mind. I'm sure he's able to do that. And he's crossing the floor and also to a government position, a cabinet position. And so I think it would be easy enough for him to make the argument that he felt that this was in the best interests of the constituency for him to take this role. And I think the other thing, too, is obviously we have different political parties in Nova Scotia, but the ideological difference or the ideological distance between one party and another is not so tremendous that he has to start walking back every comment he's ever made on something, right? Like it's not like the parties are so far apart or completely no overlap whatsoever. And so I think he can probably, politically find his way to an explanation for why he's done what he's done.
And his election night results have always been good, so maybe they'll follow him along. This happens the same day that Trevor Boudreau announces that he's leaving his post as Community Services Minister. I suppose bringing Maguire on removes one of the opposition's most vocal challengers to the government, as well as putting him in a position that he has long wanted, hasn't it?
Yeah. And I want to just say, too, I presume nothing on the part of the voters of Halifax Atlantic. They will do what they're going to do. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think, a really big get for the Houston government because Maguire has been he's very, very effective, very vocal MLA and a very well respected one. He has been highly vocal in his criticism of the government. And so to have him sitting on the benches with them and contributing as a minister for the government, and he'll be answering questions in question period instead of throwing questions in question period. And so that's pretty significant. Also is the fact that he is coming as an HRM MLA. And so that's a part of the province that the government is not overly represented. There's a lot of rural ridings for the Progressive Conservatives. And whereas we see the NDP and the Liberals often splitting the difference in HRM and in Cape Breton. And so to have such a high-profile MLA come to them from HRM is a big thing.
I wonder what it'll be like for him as someone who has called for increased income assistance payments, for example, in this province for a long time. They have been frozen, and that budget is, of course, set now. So that's not going to change. What happens there? What a guy who has long called for change to government and policy is now part of government and policy.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been part of government and policy before, just with a different government. It'll be interesting to see, and I think people will watch for whether there is any discernible impact from Brendan Maguire's presence in government. Are we going to see any shifts in policy and communications and budgeting from the Houston government to be more inclusive of some of the things that Maguire has spoken up for? And I mean, we unfortunately, I don't know about you, I wasn't a fly on the wall for the conversations that he's had with the premier, but I wonder if he put down some terms, if he explained, these are the things that are important to me, and I'm not comfortable coming over unless I see some action on these things. And so as much as we have seen how, as an MLA on the opposition side, Maguire has fought for these issues, it's possible that he will now take the same issues up in the governing side.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier there the Metro C. I'm just curious, it does give the Houston government a little bit more of a toehold there. Does any of this play into a possible summer election or future election?
So if we go by the schedule that the Houston government has put in place shortly after being elected, the next election is supposed to be July of 2025. Now, I wonder if Houston wants to get it out of the way before that, largely because he doesn't want to run into the timing of a possible federal election, which at this point is scheduled for October 2025. But who knows what the heck is going to happen there, because it's a minority government, and that's a very strange situation, and that's just evolving by the day. So, I mean, it's possible that if Houston starts to look like he's on a real momentum, where he's got, people crossing the floor, a further divided opposition, perhaps, he may just choose to pull the plug. But I think there's a danger in that. There's a danger in going too early. I think there's a normalization now of fixed election dates. Nova Scotia was the last province to do it. And so I think there's a sense that, we have 4-year terms. And if a majority starts looking for another term before the 4 years is up, they better have a really good reason. Otherwise, the voter is a little bit irritated with that. Different example, but when Justin Trudeau went in 2021, which was way early, that was like 2 years, voters were irritated by that. Voters were irritated by the ask to come and give a new mandate when the other one was far from over. And so I think there's a little bit of a risk of a voter backlash on that.
Well, we shall see how it all plays out. Lori Turnbull, thank you.
Thank you too. Take care.
Coming up, a judge has labeled the man who deliberately drove his pickup truck into a Muslim family in London, Ontario, as a terrorist. Violence erupted again in the West Bank today with a roadside shooting. At least one person was killed and several others were wounded. At least 2 of the suspected gunmen were killed as well, fired on by Israeli police and civilians. The CBC's Abiku Vasan reports.
During the morning rush hour into Jerusalem, Israeli police say 3 Palestinian suspects shot at drivers on a highway near an Israeli checkpoint in the occupied West Bank. The wounded were taken to a hospital. An Israeli police spokesperson says it was a tragic morning.
Large police forces arrived to the scene and managed to neutralize 2 terrorists on the scene of the attack and 1 who was attempting to flee. They managed to neutralize that threat as well. Like I said, we're in a time of war, and our level of readiness is heightened.
A far-right member of Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition government has commented from the site. He called for even more checkpoints to restrict the movement of Palestinians in the name of Israeli security. Tensions in the West Bank have only surged following Hamas's October 7th attacks and Israel's bombardment of Gaza. There has been a military crackdown through what Israel calls counterterrorism operations, with thousands of Palestinians being detained and frequent raids. These images show the aftermath of a raid in Jenin. Israeli forces left behind damaged homes, torn up roads, and burnt cars. The IDF considers Jenin a hotbed of terrorism. Meanwhile, Human Rights Watch says Israeli settler violence has doubled since October 7th. There are reports of extremist settlers firing at Palestinians and seeking to encroach on their land. Israel has built more than 130 settlements in the territory since 1967, settlements that are considered illegal under international law. The UN says more than 350 Palestinians have been killed in the occupied West Bank since October 7th. The United States, United Kingdom, and France have sanctioned some of the settlers for their human rights abuses. Paris is seeking to take these sanctions to the European level. Abby Kwoldasin, CBC News, Berlin.
Nathaniel Veltman has been sentenced to life in prison for killing 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario. The judge also labeled the 27-year-old man a terrorist. Relatives of the Afzal family are calling on Canadians to learn from this tragedy and take steps to combat hate.
Closure is not possible. What is possible is to channel June 6th into positive change.
Veltman was also sentenced to a concurrent life sentence for the attempted murder of a boy who survived the attack. Veltman has no chance for parole for 25 years. Last fall, he was convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. In June of 2021, he drove a pickup truck into his victims while they were out for an evening walk. This Saturday, Ukraine will mark 2 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion. And as Nicole Williams shows us, for Ukrainians who fled, including to Canada, the war continues to shape their lives and their futures.
Even 2 years on, safe with a Canadian family, the memory of the war is still fresh for Oksana Orel.
We were hiding at night in basements, so it was a very scary time.
Orel and her husband planned to enlist to fight for Ukraine, but then she found out she was pregnant.
Unfortunately, a lot of kids in Ukraine died, and they're still dying. So that's why my priority was left my country.
Orel ended up giving birth to her daughter in Canada alone. Her husband still fighting in Ukraine, or at least she hopes. He's been missing since January of last year, and her homeland still being torn apart.
It's pure madness and hell. You can't be happy when your home on fire.
At Ottawa City Hall, a children's choir sings the Ukrainian national anthem to mark the dark anniversary, some of them far from home.
And I cried because I didn't want to go away.
More than 220,000 Ukrainians have arrived in Canada since the war began.
Many of us prayed that we wouldn't be standing here today, marking the 2nd anniversary.
Ukraine says it's running out of ammunition. Canada has already donated many of its available artillery shells. Ukrainians here say providing their country with the weapons it needs should be top priority.
I am often asked, how and when is this war going to end? And I say that the only way is to end with victory for Ukraine.
Ukrainians in Canada continue to try and build a life here, but some say they haven't yet let go of the hope that someday they might be able to return home. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Ottawa.
With a couple of notable exceptions, it's been a relatively mild winter for most of Canada. That's been a letdown for outdoor enthusiasts, but it's been a boon for many who work outside, especially in construction. The CBC's Natalia Goodwin has the story.
Ottawa may look like a winter wonderland after the recent snow and cold temperatures, but most of this season has looked like this, warm and a bit soggy. That means roofer Byron Bastillo has been able to get more shingles down this winter. Normally, he'd only be able to work 2 to 3 days a week, sometimes less.
I would have had to have stopped at some point during the winter because we just can't, things start to break and stuff. Whereas this winter, it's just been mild, so we've just been continuing, and looks like we'll be done just before the springtime.
Bastillo says he can work in most temperatures and snow can easily get blown off a roof, but dry weather makes his job more safe.
Just makes it slippery, you're on a rope obviously, but your angles have to be tighter because you can't be swinging around and sliding right off the roofs.
And it's not just purely outside jobs that are getting ahead. Stephen Sever runs Sever Contracting. He's been able to avoid pushing jobs that would normally have to wait until summer.
We usually stop cutting windows out in November, but because of the mild weather, we can continue to do it basically up to now. We finished the deck in December, January, because the weather was great.
Ottawa has not only been warm, there's been less snow too. Just over 93 centimeters of snow has fallen since December 1st. Over the same time period last year, about 222 centimeters of snow fell. The Ottawa Construction Association says the winter doesn't really stop the work, but a milder winter does help.
It just impacts productivity, it impacts performance of equipment. So what you're seeing is they can deliver more construction per day when it's easy going than when it's extreme. So and there's less time lost on preparing the site for the day's activities.
DeVries says that productivity trickles down to the worker too, as there's only so much a human body can do in frigid conditions. But it's not just about productivity. DeVries says a milder winter means construction sites don't have to be heated as much, meaning some contractors could save some money. Natalia Goodwin, CBC News, Ottawa.
Customers at a hair salon in Newfoundland can be forgiven if they feel like they're being watched. They probably are, and they may get scratched too. It's all because the salon has a sideline, adopting out abandoned cats. The CBC's Martin Jones has that story.
The Strand Salon in Gander has a special relationship with the local SPCA shelter. Co-owners Amber Hanlon and Amy Cheeks have been fostering cats for about a year now. Sally is the latest furry addition, making her the salon's 16th foster cat.
Her nickname is Dainty Ankles because she's so small. So she's 3 years old. She came from a home that had a lot of other cats. She didn't have the best upbringing. She was super, super shy when we got her, but now she's been laying down in clients' laps. She's very food motivated. She loves a treat and loves to be pet. So she's really playful. She's great.
Sally has made herself at home at the Strand. The customers, well, they don't seem to mind one bit.
I had a client yesterday who is afraid of cats, but she said since she's been coming here and seeing the cats in like an environment where it's kind of like controlled, she feels more comfortable around them now.
Hanlon and Cheeks admit they never expected to foster 16 cats in a single year. But it turns out their partnership with the Gander SPCA really works.
A lot of cats that we had, they had been at the shelter for over 200 days without an adoption, and they come here and they've been here for 6 days and have left. Wow. So, like, we had one cat and she was here for 3 hours and got adopted. It was, in 1 week we had 3 cats adopted.
One of our cats had a problem where she had licked all her fur off. So while she was here, her fur grew back. So I don't know if it's like a Salon thing or if it's just like a relaxation thing, but she really felt comfortable here enough to like stop licking all her fur off.
So we'll take all the riffraff.
Yeah.
We'll take whoever.
Martin Jones, CBC News, Gander.
Canada's main stock index gained almost 150 points today, while its Wall Street counterparts soared. Here's a look at how the markets did as we head to break.
For news you can trust, we have the latest on what's happening in your community and a weather forecast you can rely on no matter where you are in Atlantic Canada. I'm Amy Smith.
And I'm Ryan Snoddon.
Join us for Atlantic Tonight,
right after the National.
Yeah, we've got the to-do list, clean out the drains, shovel away the snow where you can to let the water get away if at all possible.
If at all possible. And it's going to be a challenge. The ground is frozen, so the water won't really be able to get away as easily as it normally does. And there is a good shot of it coming, as we know. So let's have a look first and foremost at our viewer picture of the day. And this one we're going to Zoom out into Digby County and a beautiful spot here, Church Point, and a beautiful sunset. And how about this?
Yeah, we're getting later sun.
Yeah.
And that's just a beautiful reward there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that could be any time of year too, right?
Yeah, you're
Not
right.
much snow in that neck of the woods right now. Bruce Hill, thank you so much. So in that area, looks like 10 to 20 millimeters, and then those amounts really ramp up towards the Atlantic coast. Halifax, even South Shore, Halifax, Truro, Pictou, and east of that line, 30, 40, 50 millimeters. And forecast models continue to show pockets exceeding that number, exceeding 50 millimeters locally. And again, tomorrow it turns mild by the afternoon, and those temperatures will continue to rise through Friday night and into Saturday morning. That's really when we'll peak temperature-wise is Saturday morning for most of us, though already starting to fall for areas in the west. Will all fall below the freezing mark Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, turning icy, so be mindful of that if you're out. And then by Sunday morning, we're into a full-on freeze.
Brr, that sounds chilly, doesn't it? All right, thanks, Ryan. Well, it's estimated that more than 1 trillion Lego pieces have been made since the colorful plastic bricks went into production back in 1947. Now, a very rare exotic piece has turned up at a thrift store warehouse in Pennsylvania.
There's 30 of the gold ones. They do make some silver ones and some plutonium ones.
This piece, known as Bionicle Lego mask, was found in a donation of jewelry. It's one of 30 made of 14 karat gold. Originally, the exotic metal pieces were given to Lego employees as gifts or used as prizes in contests.
This one is up for auction. Bidding is currently more than $11,000 US. The thrift store Goodwill says $5,000 would have been a record-setting sale price.
Wow.
Never got one of those in the kids' set to do.
That would be hard to step on.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.